All right. Well, I hope everybody's doing pretty good. Like I mentioned in a couple other shows, I'm gonna change the format of this show. What I was gonna change, YouTube caused me too many problems. That's why all these videos are coming out in 2002-3 instead of 2002-2. Been thinking about a couple things. Fishing channel from an inflatable boat, which I looked at YouTube. I didn't see a whole bunch of it. So that way I can just roll the boat up, throw it in the back of the car, and take off. But I got to see if I can pull that off, because it's still, still having a tough time keeping jobs. So, and we'll see if I can pull that off and make it work. I also thought about doing a special effects channel and showing people how to hook up a soundboard and use it and all that fun stuff. Anything on making a video or movie. Thought about doing that because I do make movies on a hobby. Show you how to lay out the snake and all the other fun stuff that goes along with it. How to get a whole band onto the mixer, plus lots of vocals and lots of singers. How to use a mixer that's got only one control for phantom power. The new one I got, that's what it is. It's only got one control, and you want to put multiple microphones or multiple devices on there without phantom power. There's a way. You just have to separate it, like I'm doing now, because I got the Stream Deck working with the mixer, and we can do something like this.
Off with your head!
I figured that was a good sound effect. I'll find a place to use it in the other channel, but it's not really good for this channel. I'm just playing with it once in a while. So anyway, let's get this train off the tracks. Well, it takes a long time to get that train going, or at least let people know that we're boarding. Anyway, so we're going to get going with this next film. There goes my... That's just kind of funny. As soon as that engineer's through, oh, he's through. Okay, good. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the new Star Trek movie, the one that came out in 2009, which was based on the one that came out in 1979. Star Trek The Motion Picture list of Trek films. So we've got lots of Star Trek in the past. They're trying to remake them to new, which is okay. They're pretty good. I prefer the old ones versus the new ones. I've got some of those, been trying to catch them all up. So anyway, this movie takes a little twist as the first one, because they tried to tie the first one with the old one so it'd make more money. So basically, Spock, in what they call the retiring days when they first start this movie, goes to save a planet. I can't remember the name of the damn planet he's trying to save. But anyway, the sun goes supernova, and Spock didn't make it in time because his modern ship wasn't fast enough. Romulan planet, that's what it is, Romulans. He tried to save the planet, and he didn't get there because the supernova took it. So he has this thing called dark matter. He shot into the planet into the sun to engulf it and make it so it doesn't take all the planets out in the system. So anyway, this Romulan ship attacks him as he's leaving, because he didn't like the idea that his ship got attacked, and Spock couldn't stop it when they said they were. And the Federation couldn't stop it. So he ends up attacking, and then they both get sucked into the supernova black hole, and Romulan ship comes out first and blows up the ship that Picard's dad is on, and they end up having him on the shuttle as his wife's leaving and evacuating. So he ends up having to stay on the ship to fight off the Romulan, so that his wife and kid and all of the people on the ship actually get to stay alive and get to. So his wife ends up back on Earth raising him with a stepfather. And the funny part of it is he ends up stealing stepdad's car, which is a 1965 Corvette Stingray, if I remember right. Could be wrong, but I remember right. Anyway, so he ends up running from the police that are on flying motorcycles, and sends the car over playing this really cool song, real heavy metal cool song. They play it throughout the movie, by the way. Coffee time, sorry. Yeah, they destroyed the car in a pit, a mining pit for stone. Like stuff for your stone counter and stuff like that. Anyway, so he ends up getting into a bar fight when they show him old after that, older, in his 20s or 30s, something like that. So he ends up getting into a bar fight and challenged by the captain of the Enterprise, wouldn't you think, and the flagship of the fleet. Then they end up getting on the ship, and then the chief surgeon, or Bones, ends up showing on. He's a different person, but they explain why he's called Bones as they figure it out on the shuttle, and then they end up getting to the training base, and this James T. Kirk says he's going to become captain in 3 years, 2 years, not 4, which is kind of funny how that works. And then they go out into space, and they train, and they have this test that's unbeatable that Spock created, or the younger version of Spock created. It's just kind of all leading up to the finale at the end of the movie. It's a pretty good movie. I like the way they did it. Doesn't compare very well to the old one, but if you treat it as its own separate movie, it's a pretty good movie. Anyway, so he ends up beating the test after 3 tries because he changed the parameters of the test, and they were just in the middle of his hearing when they have to go fight the Romulan ship or lightning bolts in space, which is really crazy, especially when you hear it, because how does lightning work in space? Because it does not need an atmosphere and a magnetic current. I don't know if energy can move in space, because there's no atmosphere, no molecules for it to travel on or bounce through or electrify. Anyway, so Bones ends up getting, because Captain Kirk has ended up suspended, and ends up getting him on the Enterprise through a bunch of medical trickery, which is kind of funny to watch. And they got the space age forklifts where they got wheels on them where they'll let them go forward, sideways, backwards, kind of turn like this. Just, they keep advertising them on YouTube, but I don't think they really exist. Somebody's trying to make them exist, but I don't think they really exist. So we're doing pretty good here. Then they end up getting him on the ship, and then he overhears the announcement that they're going to war in night and space. The whole fleet's going, and then he ends up with swollen hands, swollen lips, numb tongue, and all kinds of funny things are going on to him because of the the vaccination Bones gives to him, and he runs around giving him injections, and he talks to Uhura, the communications officer, talking about the communications she had that day on the base, or the day before on the base, because he was in her room for reasons you'll get to find out when you watch the movie. Then, gotta move my thing. Then they end up going to the captain, in front of the captain, and telling him to stop, full stop and warp, because the whole fleet's getting demolished because of the Romulans' ship is tearing them up. They opted not to stop, and then they end up going through a wrecking yard of ships that have been blown up by this thing, and the Romulan captain decides not to blow up the Enterprise because it has the number on it, figuring it would be Spock on board. He wants to have revenge on Spock. So this was apparently the mining ship. The Romulan ship was the mining ship. So this captain goes over and promotes Spock to captain and Kirk to co-captain, or second in charge. So the acting captain, Spock, he does all kinds of crazy things, kicks Spock off the ship after their captain is killed, assumably. It's actually a pretty good movie, and there's a whole lot more. Kirk meets the old version of Spock, which is the old Spock from the other TV show, which is still alive. They call him Ambassador. Then, then the war ensues. They try to get back. They went and found a engineer, which they named him from the original crew, that ends up not knowing how to warp or transport them onto a ship at warp, and then they give them the equation, and they transport. One lands in the cooling tube, I can imagine, for the ship's engine, because it's pretty big. And, you can see through it. Then Kirk opens the valve to drop him on the floor with a bunch of water before he gets chewed up by the pump, I guess you would call it. Then they end up getting arrested, going to see Spock, and then he ends up antagonizing Spock to get him to show his feelings after Vulcan was destroyed, and they those itches, I can't know why. They get into a fight, and Captain Kirk loses, and he wins at the same time because he gets Spock to step down from being captain of the Enterprise, and then then Kirk takes over the ship because he was second in charge, so now he's captain, and then they end up going and beating the Romulan ship towards the end of the movie. It's really a pretty good damn movie. So let's get into some of the specs of this movie, because I'm going to about average, so probably a little longer. But that's okay. I like talking about Star Trek because I like Star Trek. Okay, this was a Paramount Pictures film. It was released in, 2009. If you want more specifics, it's May 8th, 2009. 127 minutes long. It's English, United States, of course, because we can all understand it. That's where it was originally released. Then they spent $150 million on the film, and they made $385.7 million on the film. So I do recommend everybody watches that. I gave that one a full star, but I'm biased too because I like Star Trek. So anyway, we can wonder if Star Trek had one of these bells, or those ships had one of these bells for a ship. I don't think they had a ship's bell like that. I think that's for the sailing vessels, but we'll see this. Okay, the film was filmed in California, Utah, and other locations. They're not specifying. It's kind of interesting. That's a little trivia I didn't know. Yeah. I bet the ship don't even exist, but it's fun to watch and dream. It's good entertainment. You just got to remember these films are not real. Nothing's real in the movies. It's just good entertainment. So anyway, I think we're done with this movie, so I'll go ahead and pop out of here. Let's do it from this side.